Okay, what's going on, computer? Catch up, catch up. Yep, I figured that. Good evening. Yep, I figured. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We apologize for the delay, but A60 is in the building. We back at it. We back at it with another banger. We're gonna have a great, great interview, and I'm looking forward to this one. This is something that's been building up for a while, and now I finally get to do it. And I get to do it with one of my best friends. You know, they call him the Question King, but I want to see if he got the right answers because I don't think he got the right answers. But I want to know because you have to shut some of these dudes down because you know everybody be talking crazy. So we're gonna see if he's right on or he's right off. And women, join in because we want your opinion too. Because I think some of you are delusional, but we're gonna get to the bottom of that. We're gonna figure some things out. We're gonna try to figure this out one way or the other, and we're gonna have us some fun tonight. It's all about conversation and having fun. And this is where they always say battle of the sexes. This is where it's at. So we're gonna battle tonight. And it's not really battle, it's called friendly competition at the end of the night. So we're gonna have us a good time. So let me give a shout out, special disclaimer to my Elite Learners family, Kamara Jackson. They're doing great things in the Crown Heights community. They're doing a lot of things with the gun violence. I just seen something they did with Mike Tyson being a mentor coming through. Shout out to Kamara Jackson, Al Watson, and what they're doing in the community. Shout out to JC1 Printing, who's always been down with A60. He's actually doing the awards this year that I'm giving out this year. Shout out to my guy, Steve, aka Uncle, always showing me love out there. You know, Sabu, appreciate all the softballs you give me every year. Got something for you this year, so stay tuned for that. Shout out to my AL family. Vinny, good looking. Flo, good looking for getting me the field this year. Can't wait to get up there. We're playing on the dirt. So hopefully everything is looking nice and right Friday night. And going into that, August 7th, Friday night, under the lights, in the bleachers, Team A60 versus Kenny Kings. Rest in peace, Kenny Kings. I had to do that game on a Friday night. I had to do it against Kenny. Reason being, we didn't even finish the game last year. Guy on my team got hurt, and we couldn't finish the game. Plus, the lights went out. So definitely want to finish that game for my guy Kenny. It's going to be a great game. Eric, hope you can get everybody together and we can have a good turnout for our brother Kenny. And Saturday, August 8th, bring your grills, bring your coolers. The tribe is coming back, and I am going up against the tribe. You know, they didn't want to give me no jersey when I wanted to play, but we ain't going to talk about that. They didn't want to give me no jersey, but I finally get to play against them. I think I hit a couple of home runs off Wayne, but we ain't going to talk about that. I know I definitely got a couple of singles. Might not be home run, but I got a couple of singles. He probably walked me too, but I know that. I know Desmond missed a lot of bases. Mo, you missed a lot of bases. So, but other than that, I'm looking forward to being with my brothers from the tribe. Wayne, Rodney, good looking, man. I really appreciate that game. And also, any of the old timers that want to come up and take some swings, come on, let's come to the park. AL, get your group together. I've been trying to get y'all for 5 years. This is my 7th year. AL, get together. Let's do something. You know, you Mo Better guys, let's get together. Let's do something. You know, I know everybody show up, and I really appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to it. So, yes, August 7th, Friday night under the lights. August 8th, Saturday, going up against Tribe. And I'm also giving an award out to my man, my brother, Tony Cherry, a.k.a. Mr. Softball. I am giving him the Lifetime Achievement Award this year because of what he has done for the softball community. He always taking us to the softball tournaments. He's actually one of the people that put me in the tournament game. So it's only right that I give it to that man for my second year giving away an award, and I'm giving it to Tony Cherry, Mr. Softball. So everybody turn up and watch that. And of course, Mr. T is throwing out the first pitch on Saturday. You know it won't be right unless he throw out the first pitch. We got to get him right. So everybody, August 7th. Yes, Lemon, August 7th. Please, if you're going to play this year, stop fronting. Come out and play. You know you always say that, and then I don't see you for the whole weekend. So if you're playing, come play. Flo, I know, Flo, you bringing something, all the basketball guys. I want to see y'all show up this year. What else we got going on? That's probably about it. Getting the room a little filled. So we're going to get it started. I know we're behind schedule. My apologies. It's all my fault. Blame me. I'll take full responsibility. A60, blame me. But you know what? I'm going to make it good for y'all. We're going to have a good time. So, saying that, everybody who's tuning in, please like and share on Facebook. Please like and share on Facebook. Okay? Go to the YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with A60. Chopping It Up with A60. Subscribe. Let's get them numbers up. I'm at 130 something right now. Let's get them numbers up. I'm trying to get to 200. If I get to 200, I did my job. But you know what? It's not all about the numbers. It's all about what I do for you guys. I bring noise to you guys. We have a great time. We have a great show. So let's get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, bringing back to the A60 Forum, we're not just going to talk softball, but we're going to talk relationships. And I couldn't pick a better person to do this with. My brother, Wayne Sept, a.k.a. the Question King.
What's going on, Al?
Yo, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. What's up with you, bro?
I don't know. What's up with your volume, bro? Why your volume cracked, man? What you done did, man?
It's low? Hold on. Let's see. Let me get it right.
You got the Obama phone. What's up with you, man? You just don't sound clear.
Let's get it right, man. Let's get volume together for you real quick.
And there's a lot of feedback.
Anything better now?
I hear you, but it's a lot of feedback. Are you on?
Hold on. Let me make sure the phone's not on. The phone's not next to it, giving us any kind of crazy feedback.
It sounds like it's feedback. Remember early when we was on? It just sounded like it's feedback.
How's that now? Still the same?
I hear you. It just sounds like it's feedback. I mean, we can hear you, but it's just feedback. So I don't know if everybody out there, how does it sound? Everybody out there, how does it sound? Because I want to make sure.
I just turned it up a little bit more. Is that any better?
No, you good. You good. It just sounds like it's like something feedback out there. I don't know.
All right. I'm gonna see whether or not this phone being over here.
Oh, he said, my boy said, go back out and reconnect.
Go back out
and reconnect. We got time. We good. It's echoing. He said it's echoing.
I'm gonna close out and come back in. You tell me if it sounds any better.
Okay, cool. Don't worry about it, everybody. We're gonna get it right. We're gonna make sure the show is right. We're gonna have us some fun tonight. I see wifey tuning in. She better not start no trouble tonight. She starts some trouble tonight. Got that belt on the wall. She act up. So, Lemon, what's good, man? What's really good with you? How's work? I ain't been up in the park in a minute, man. Trying to think about the last time I shot a ball. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel you. Facts. Life is always good. Any day above ground is a good day. Any day above ground is a good day. You know what I'm saying? We got to remember these moments. Some of us only get one life. Some of us get more than one. Okay, let's see. Let's get my brother back in there.
Any better?
That's a lot better.
Good, good, good.
It's a lot better.
Good advice, Lemon. Good advice.
Yeah, that's one of my dudes who helped me get everything popping.
That's
So,
what's up. Yeah,
yeah.
man. Thanks for having me here, bro.
No, thanks for doing this, man. You know, you've been doing this movement for a minute, so I felt like it's only right. I saw you post one of those questions, and I said, you know what? I got to get my boy on the show. We got to see what's really good because there's so much going on in the world. I know we do sports, but there's more than just sports that we can talk about. You know what I'm saying? That can bring things together.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, and doing it for a while is a proper a proper way to explain it. I don't know. You know what's so funny about doing it for a while is you see all over the internet now is these cats have these relationship driven men and women
Mhm.
um podcasts that I think I said this to you once before that man that goes back with me almost 10 years now
Mm.
that the relationship themed Facebook Q&A sessions was going on where I would do it every Monday on Facebook, a page that I had called the Forum, where I would post a question on that Monday night that would just lead to this back and forth banter with men giving their point of views on things, women giving their point of views. And it just became these conversations that I know a lot of people, myself included, there was this anticipation weekly with seeing what the next, topic of discussion was going to be.
Mhm.
And just looking to see what the back and forth would be like. And for me, it was very interesting. It still is.
Mhm.
And I think the times haven't changed very much since then. And I don't know what's going on with us where we're trying to get it together, but for whatever reasons, we just can't, man. Things are not getting together right now.
Yeah, we bumping heads a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? It's too much. It's too much stress driven on both sides. Either it's communication or whatever it might be. And my next one of my questions to you is, why did you start doing this? Because I feel like it had to be a reason for you to start something like this. What was it? Something from the past that you just felt, or was it a room you was in and you just started hearing the conversations to make you start wanting to be a part of this type of forum?
Good question. Um, as a as a very specific of honing in on saying, yo, this is what I'm gonna start talking about. I don't know if I could recall that as a specific. I
Mhm.
do remember with that page that I had, I think it started just with me being a little bit all over the place. Like you said, a lot of stuff was sports driven.
Mhm.
And I think the conversations just segued into something that now that just became a focal point that I started creating a lot of the questions about, was relationship driven. So I think once I got on that as a platform, it became very hard to get off because it sparked so much interest. There's so many different variables that you're going to get those variables because everybody has an opinion. Everybody's opinion is different. So I think for me, it's a very easy format that I got into. And with the questions being thought provoking, it just led to the banter of the back and forth of it all. And like, I just couldn't wait for the next day of it all to hear
Mhm.
what everybody had to say with whatever the next question that I would post was going to be.
I see that. Well, I'm gonna start the drama. We're gonna. I'm gonna ask the first question. What, in your opinion, can make a relationship? And I have a part two because there's a break in a relationship. So the first part, what can make a relationship?
Uh, Patience. I think that the first thing, if you cooking up a relationship cake, I think the main ingredient is going to have to be patience.
Mm,
Um, I say that because we all come from different walks of life, and when you bring a man and a woman together, just because they might have a certain attraction to each other, be it physical or whatever, you're going to have this level of patience that's going to allow you to get to know that person and accept that person without you trying to treat them as a ball of clay and mold them into what's perfect for you. If that's ever going to be somebody's approach to a relationship, it's guaranteed to fail. So you're going to have that level of patience to learn and understand and accept that person for who they are, for the great qualities that they may bring, for the horrible attributes that they might have also. I don't think a bad attribute in a person is always necessarily a deal breaker per se, but patience is that key. Without patience, you're not going to invest the time to learn about that person so that you're building that relationship. So I would say the first thing has to be patience, because we all what we want. We want what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to always get that in a relationship. And if you have the patience to say, I'm willing to give just as much as I'm willing to take, that's the foundation for a great relationship.
What can break a relationship?
Oh, man. There's a million. there's plenty of items for that. A big part, well, trust, first and foremost. There has to be a level of trust, man. Has to be a level of trust. I can't grow with you if I can't trust you. I can't want to invest in you. Sometimes those investments are financial, sometimes they're emotional. I can't invest my finances in you. I can't invest my emotional well-being in you. I can't invest my mental health in you if I can't trust you. So trust is that deal breaker in a relationship. That's once it's gone, it's so hard to get it back, because it's so hard to build. And then if you don't trust a person, you definitely don't want to give them a second chance. So I think that trust is that thing that first and foremost that breaks the vast majority of relationships, man. And that trust can be broken through infidelity. It could be broken through sharing information that should be kept within the confines of the relationship or the confines of the house. You share that information with your friends, and the next thing you know, your quote unquote business is in the street. So, yeah, patience, keep it going. Trust will break it down for sure.
I've seen this happen before. Do you think when you're in a relationship with someone, financially is a big commitment in that relationship?
Oh,
Do you
absolutely.
think that is like a huge component of the relationship financially?
It can be, but I don't. When I say it can be, I say it can be because I don't think that finances should be this huge thing early on.
Right.
So what we talked about with the trust and the patience, once those things are starting to establish themselves, that's when I think these financial responsibilities of what the relationship is going to entail should come about. Definitely shouldn't be happening very, very early on. I think that's a big mistake. Um, I think finances is very often, very early in a relationship, become an expectation from certain people. And that should be a red flag immediately. For me, it should be a red flag immediately. Very early on in a relationship, if a woman is asking of you financially, there's a difference between offering and asking. So if that's an ask from somebody a lady that you're interested in, very very early on, I say take that as a red flag. You know, if very early in the relationship she has no qualms with trying to see what's going on in those pockets rather than what's going on in your head and what's going on in your heart. That tells you what a lot about what her makeup is going to be like as you go deeper into the relationship. So absolutely, finances are important, but they come in a certain stage, and I don't think that that
Mm.
stage should be very early on.
Oh, that's key because I know there are a lot of people who use that as one of those deal breakers, financially, if they feel like they with someone that's not stable at the moment to potentially be stable long time. You know what I'm saying? Like if they set a timetable. Now I don't know if that works for everyone, but there are people, like you said, who are patient, and there are some people who are like, no, we want that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, like you said, there's different levels to how that can work out.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with what anybody wants. So
Mhm.
if men and women, so I don't think a man is wrong at all if he meets a young lady and he's attracted to her, and as he does a deeper dive into her and they start peeling back different layers, he finds out that where she is in this current moment financially, she's not stable. Her home life is not stable. She might have children and she's trying to figure it out, and she's not getting help from her children's fathers and things of that nature. I think that a man that's taking a look at that overall picture that she's bringing absolutely has the right to say, this is not somebody that I want to deal with at this present moment because these are the foundations that I want this certain person already to have in place. And a woman gets to say the same exact thing if she encounters a man and where he's at in life, especially depending upon what age he is. If he doesn't have certain things in place, she absolutely gets the right to say, well, I don't particularly want to deal with this dude because I don't like where he is at this age and this stage in life. I think he should be a little bit further along. A lot of women got these stories of these build a bear guys that they dealt with that they needed to do this for and they needed to do that for.
That's a good one.
And they invest some time and some energy and some money into them,
Mm.
and things don't turn out the way she wished that things would have turned out. So now when she meets another guy that might be at that same level in that same stage, she flashes back to what she did with old boy before. And she'll say, I don't think I'm ready to do that right now. So if that's the way you're looking at finances, I think, yeah, everybody has a right to say yay or nay, uh, whether or not they want to go the next steps with a person based on where they are um, and what level they're at in life. But if you just meeting somebody and ask of them is financial, that's what I mean by the red flag. Not where you are when they first meet, but if as a man or as a woman you're trying to get in somebody's pockets immediately and you want certain things as a prerequisite for being in a relationship, that's a red flag for me. That's a no-go. That
Mm.
I can't do that.
Now, you went into something about kids. I want to ask you a question about that. If you are dating someone, man or woman, and they either one have kids, can
You
they
said
let,
they have kids.
and they both have kids, but they dating,
Okay. Okay.
those kids make or break that relationship?
More often than not they do.
Mm.
More often than not, they do. And this is where, once again, that patience comes into play. Do I want to be patient with you and what comes along with me dating you and you have a 7 year old? And my children are of a certain age where they're on their own. Or um, you don't have certain resources that's going to make your dating life even smoother with the fact that you have a child of a certain age that needs your day-to-day attention. So like right now that's a deal breaker for a lot of men. So once I started doing these forums like this on Facebook, the concept and the premise behind it has never stopped. I still have these talks, these chats with men, and age range could go from the mid 60s to the early 20s. And you'll just be so surprised by the different. I'm sure in my mid 20s, I wasn't thinking no place near the way I'm thinking now. But one thing that's a consistent, even with younger men right now, is whether or not they want to deal with women that have children of a certain age. When I say a certain age, I mean that younger age where you have to you're not willing to invest the patience that it takes to deal with her and what her responsibilities are as a mother, of a young child. So if that's not your thing, it's not your thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make her a bad person. But if she has some type of close support and network that also lends to her being able to still possibly date, then that's a good thing. But for a guy that's single and he's trying to learn about a young lady, invest his time in her, and he now also has to factor in the fact that she has to be home by a certain time. She can't stay out. She can't spend the night. She's just not available certain days of the week because of these responsibilities. That's a no go for a lot of men, and they just will say, "All right, well, thanks, but no thanks," and be ready to move on to a different situation that aligns better with them with their dating life.
Here's my other question. Say you, I'm gonna use myself as an example. Was married before, got 2 kids. My
Okay.
ex remarried.
Okay.
How should that introduction be for the kids to the new guy? And how should the new, well, 2-part question. And how should the new guy treat those kids? Should he treat different or treat them as his own? What is your opinion on that? And I'm just asking that question. I'm not saying it's happening, but it has happened.
I got you. Well, first and foremost, those kids are gonna be well aware of him probably before even you or was, because the ex is going to be bringing him once she's comfortable enough with him, and hopefully it's at the stage once they're comfortable with somebody. I got some horror stories about a date or 2 or 10 that I've had with single women that didn't have this network in place but wanted to date. Horror stories, man.
Like, share.
Okay, I'm gonna share and line it up with what you're saying. Where I'm like, come on, you got to be joking, shorty. I know you're joking. So, obviously, we New York dudes. We from Brooklyn. I'm originally from Brooklyn, born and raised. When I left New York, I moved to Charlotte. I lived in Charlotte for 10 years. I'm currently in Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta for 6 years now. So never forget this young lady that I met. Gorgeous. We meet immediately. There's this attraction. We chop it up very, very briefly, for a day or 2 or 3. And she comes and sees me. I live alone, which now leads to this. That's another thing. We're going to go deeper into that.
That's fine. That's what we're here for.
Right. Well, like a single cat that lives alone versus a single mother with children, that his house becomes the playground because she can't bring him around all the time, or especially if it's a young lady that's dating multiple people with the mindset of, I don't want everybody around my children. So she's free to come out and make your house the playhouse, but you can't go there. But let me go back to that story. So, this young lady, she comes to my house a time or 2 and we hang out, good times or whatever. So, I guess she wanted to reciprocate. So she invites me one night to her house. I'm like, all right, bet. And I knew she had a younger daughter. Fine. So she told me she was inviting me over for dinner, and I said, "Bet, let's do it." So she had been at my house been at my house a couple of times. So I come over. Her daughter's about 5, 6, and true indeed, she cooked dinner. We sitting there at the table eating dinner, and um, after dinner, we go in the living room, watch TV for a little while. She whispers to me, I'm gonna go put her down, I'm gonna come back. I'm like, all right, bet. So she goes, she puts her daughter to bed, she comes back down, press the fast forward button, is I wind up spending the night. So she wakes up, and she wakes up kind of in a frantic panic mode because she overslept. And she tells me that she's at no more times on her job with being late. She was like, so she's rushing to get out of here. She's rushing to get Shorty ready to take to school because she needs to drop her off and get to work. And they told her, that's it. No more late. You show up late again, you terminated. So I'm like, yo, damn, yeah, all right, yo, let me move out the way so you can take care of all of that. So I go get in the car. She comes out right behind me, and she was like, yo, I got to ask this huge favor of you. She said, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to get to work on time and drop my daughter off at school. One is going to take me out of it. It's going to take me in the opposite direction. I'm not going to be able to do it. Can I ask you, please, to drop her off at school for me?
Wow.
Wow. So now, like I said, fast forward. She had been to my house once or twice. We couldn't have been 2 weeks into this dealing with each other. It wasn't a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We 2 weeks in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there and I'm in awe at the question. I'm like, nah, shorty, I can't do that. And I didn't have to go to work. I can't do that wasn't about I don't have the time to do this. It was like, let me think this through for you. Why would you ask this stranger? That's the way I'm considering myself, a male, a man. Why would you entrust your 6-year-old daughter with this man that you've known for 2 weeks to drive across the city to drop her off at school so you could leave and go straight to work? And she was just shocked at the fact that I was telling her no. And my no was based on the fact that you can't be asking me this because we shouldn't be at this level where you're asking this of me. I'm taking this back to what we was talking about with single parents, single mothers per se, in particular. A single man wouldn't even do if he did that would be way out of bounds. And I said my no, and I was like, yo, you're gonna have to find a way to figure it out. Call the job, tell them, understand, that your alarm clock didn't go off, that you got to drop off your daughter and let the chips fall where they may, way before you entrust your daughter with all this craziness that's going on out in the world with people and kids. Like, how could you fix your mouth to say that? And it didn't taint my view about single mothers, but it tainted my view about her. How could you do that? Where's your network? Is there anybody else while you getting yourself ready to go to work? It's okay if she go to school late. If you call her aunt, your sister, cousin, a very close friend, to say, hey, listen, I can't afford to be at late work no more. I'm getting myself ready to go to work. You think you'd be over here in the next half hour to pick up Shorty to drop her off at school? So when that happened, I was like, yo, what's going on in some of these women's heads that would make them entrust somebody like that so early on in a relationship, or in a dealing with somebody that they just met? I just found that to be, I will never forget that. Never forget that.
It's funny because, that you say that. I'm the type of person that would probably take the kid to the school. That's just me. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if I'm really feeling shorty, we, like you said, we've been conversating for 2 weeks. She done been to my crib. I'm finally going to her crib. If
2
she,
weeks.
I mean, I'm not saying
Have
I'm in
you?
love, but I'm just
It's
saying
for
I can
me.
help out. But I
For
get your
me,
point. I
for me,
get
it
your point.
almost felt like you've done this before.
Right. Okay. You ask somebody else to do this.
You're too comfortable asking me to do this. You've done this before. You've asked this of somebody before, where you've entrusted this little girl with somebody before, and for me, that's not single mother moves that you should be making with a 5 or 6 year old. So it made me look at her totally different. And somebody Tam just said she may not have had a village to help, and that's my whole point. That was my whole point. Sometimes when you single and you don't have that village and you don't have this nucleus of people around you, you have to make these educated decisions and choices that sometimes don't favor your social life. You know? So going back to what you said about the scenario that you gave with the new boyfriend. So that new boyfriend has been around the kids before. Once you get comfortable enough with this comfortable with being in this man's presence enough where you say or you see that there's a possibility for some long term or some longevity with this situation, the next thing that you want to do is start introducing them to the kids. So they met him way before you ever even knew about him. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think once we're in a relationship that bears children, you go your way, I go my way. If I'm the custodial parent, I'm not going to run every one of my moves past you. I don't need clearance for every one of my moves from you. A custodial parent thinks that they're the end all be all. They think, if anything, what you think is secondary to what I'm going to do because these kids are under my primary care on a daily basis. So now that I'm seeing somebody, your blessings come absolute positively last. First is me feeling comfortable with him. Second is me bringing him around the kids, and if they feel comfortable with him, that's even better. And then I might share with you that I got somebody that I've been bringing around the kids, and basically how you feel about it don't even matter because I already did the testing to get the determination that I feel that I need.
That's a good point. Should me and him have a conversation after that? If it becomes serious, should we have that conversation?
Absolutely. Now I think that the men should always have the conversation, minus of whatever she feels. I think that's the perfect time to have the conversation. Especially as a man that's not an absentee parent, a man that has a very active and regular routine and care package with his children. Then the conversation with you and that man becomes, yo, congratulations. I know what you're getting, nigga. I did it all already. Turned the ass upside down. Welcome to my world, nigga.
Right. Yeah. That's funny.
Right.
That's a good one.
She still got the tramp stamp on her back with my name on it. So you know me already, dude.
Every time you look, right?
Right. I know you want her to put a big rose or something back there.
A butterfly.
But yeah, so then that's when y'all have that conversation. And it shouldn't be anything based on any kind of animosity. If if it hasn't presented itself, if the dude hasn't been disrespectful to the kids or anything like that, it should be like, yo, bro, can we talk? And sometimes that animosity when a man tries to approach another man that's dealing with his ex and his kids are around him, there's oftentimes that animosity is initiated not by the ex, but by the new dude. You know why that happens like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's because he has already bought into all the bullshit that your ex has told him about you. So now he's meeting you based on this persona of you that she's created for him in his mind. Very seldom is a woman going to say to a new dude, yo, yeah, my kid's father was a great dude and I fucked that up. She's always going to be the victim. He's always going to be the bad guy. Well, when I say always, I'm not talking 100%, but very, very, very rarely is it not going to go down like this. Yeah, I left because, and then she's going to give this laundry list of these negative things that you were in the relationship that caused her to leave and take her babies with her. And now she's trying to build this new life for herself as the victim.
Right.
No, that's so now dude is going to see you as that dude that she painted that picture of. So when you say, yo, man, can we talk? He think he talking to a scrub. That's the way it goes.
I understand.
So then now he's going to hear you and he might even say, yo, okay, dude came at me, decent and reasonable. That kind of contradicts a bunch of the stuff that she said about him. And you're not even trying, like, for me, I would want to be on cordial terms with dude that's going to be around my kids.
No doubt. No question.
Yes. I don't want you holding no kind of animosity with me and against me based on some story that you was force-fed, that you don't know the truth about me at all. That conversation that we gonna say, yo, man, can we talk to each other? Yo, let's chop it up over a beer, man. How you doing? My name is Wayne. Yeah, I know you and my lady have been spending some real quality time with each other now. I wish you the best with that. I know you're gonna be around my boys, man. My boys are, very well behaved. They're very mannerable. They get that from me. They get that from her. If there's anything that you need to talk to me about in reference to them, here's my number. I don't have to go through anything with you through her. We could chop this up as men. I'm active in their lives. I'm vocal in their lives. You'll see me coming and going, picking them up and dropping them off. So they do have an active father figure in their life. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that they get to be anything other than respectful to you also. Once you come at a man like that, if he's coming at you any way other than, that's his problem, not yours. But a lot of times the animosity and the disrespect comes from the new guy, not from the ex guy. And that's because he's seeing you and talking to you for the first time, but he already has a finished picture of who you are in his mind from what he's been dealing with her and talking to her about since they met.
Right. How do you think, and if he coming in with kids,
okay,
should he treat all the kids the same or should he treat them different?
That's hard.
And the reason why I asked that is because, like I said, it's going through that situation, and earlier on, it was like a little separation. That conversation was never had.
Yeah, so that's hard, man.
But and let me, where we at right now, it's amazing.
Great.
I'll be 100% with you. This man was at my bachelor party on Friday.
Great.
And he's taking pictures at our reception on the 15th. You know what I'm saying? So I have that much respect for that man. You know what I'm saying? And like I told him, I'm going to treat yours like his mine. It's not going to change. You know what I'm saying? I treat his son just like he treats mine. So we definitely.
How old is his children?
He got one. I think his son is 8 or 9.
Okay.
And Trey and Dayton, they 16 and 15.
Right. So they're older. And I think for a man coming in, I think that's very hard to do. I get the weird package deal. Of course, you should be, but sometimes not all packages are created equal. So you could be a single parent with a totally absentee father. You could be a single parent with who with your kid's dad. He might come around sporadically. You could be a single parent whose father is there every day. He's either picking the kids up or dropping them off or doing this or doing that. So all packages aren't created equal. And when you meet somebody, and especially if you meet in one of these women that are very cautious very early on with let me introduce with introducing somebody that they're seeing to their children. I find that the women that are cautious like that are women that don't that they don't date a lot. They're not out there dating. So the women that's out there that just every time you turn around, they done got this new dude's number and they trying to see where they fit in with this new dude. Those are the women that are very openly and easily are bringing might have the men around the children. If you're cautious, selective with who you seeing, who you dating, and you want to see how that relationship is going to grow or if it's going to grow before you introduce that person to your children, I think that's the route to go. Because otherwise, you're creating this visual for your kids about who you are. So you met this dude last Friday. I went out to the club. He came to the house and picked you up, and you invited him in. The kids saw him. Y'all went out, and it didn't really hit off. A week or two later, same scenario. So the kids are seeing dudes. So that throws their equilibrium off about like, yo, who are these dudes? As opposed to I took my time or I shielded my kids from seeing what I was doing. Even if you are dating on multiple people, there's nothing wrong with that. But everybody doesn't have to go make it to the children's eyes to see who and what you're doing. So to answer the question of treating them equal, I think that's extremely hard. So until I get to know you and be around you for an extended period of time and know your child and be around your child for an extended period of time, I think it's a cliche saying to say, yeah, I'm gonna treat your kids just like they mine. Yeah, right. I don't know. You might have one of these kids that are not very well behaved, and that happens so often. Where now that becomes even an issue with me wanting to get to know your mother better because I know I got to take this one. So yeah, I think that I'm gonna treat your kids just like they're mine. That happens after a long seasoning period of time around this child to see whether or not they're worthy of that treatment. You're gonna treat your kids like they diamonds. Like if you got a little rude, disrespectful kid that's disrespectful to you, that's disrespectful to their mother, nah, you're not gonna that comment. I'm gonna treat your kids just like they mine. Not unless that means also on a disciplinary end. Do I get to discipline your child?
That was going to be one of my other questions. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So now, where does the line get drawn with that? And that's a tough one for a whole bunch of women.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of women. So I'm just fine with being the step parent, where especially if we under the same roof, where I could pick them up, I could drop them off, I could do the laundry, I'm washing their dirty drawers, I'm cooking dinner for them every night, I'm helping them with homework. But the second there's rules and regulations that's being violated, she's the only one that can be the disciplinarian in a relationship because that's her children or her child. Now it's my child. It's our child, and I'm doing a great job as a stepdad while I'm doing all these other secondary things. But the second it comes about discipline, nah, that's my role. I only want to be the person doing that role. And for a lot of men, that's a deal breaker.
Okay.
If the answer is I'm gonna treat them just like my own. When my own violate, there's consequences. So when yours violate, there's consequences also, since I'm treating them like they're my own.
Right.
And so that's a question I'll ask for you. How would you feel about that? If in that, but your kids are of a certain age where that doesn't come into play. But let's say you had a younger child, and now your ex is with this man, and the kids are in the house. He's in the house on a daily basis. They live together, and y'all even had this conversation of, dude, I'm here, I'm around. Something goes, crazy left field with the kids. As a courtesy, do me a favor before you act. Bring it to my attention, and let's see if we could come to some type of resolve together. Let's say you put that out as a disclaimer to this guy, and something happens, and he doesn't reach out to you first and takes discipline into his own hands. How would you feel about that?
Well, I will hope that him and my ex had that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Before I can even get involved in that. If I get the phone call, then obviously that probably means they both couldn't handle it. You see what I'm saying? Because if they're being disrespectful while she's there, then that's an issue already. You know what I'm saying? So I will hope they handle it before I get it. I want to be the last resort. But to answer
no. I'm saying you wasn't conferred at all. She didn't call you, and he didn't call you, but he was the one that implemented the discipline. But y'all had a.
You living under his roof. You living under a house. You got to be the discipline. They got to understand that, and I got to learn how to accept that too.
Great answer.
I got to learn to accept it because you living under this man's rules. He's providing, feeding you, and doing stuff like you said. You just said he's doing all the things. He should have that right. You know what I'm saying? Now we can have that conversation. He's like, yo, Al, let me just tell you what happened, so you get a clear picture from me. Right. And I respect that. But yes, he should be able to handle that. If they're living in his house, you got to follow that man rules.
No, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? That's just
I hear you.
Better like that.
I hear you.
But there are a lot of men.
I pretty much agree with you. There's a lot of men that cannot accept that. Yeah. They can't accept that. There's a lot of men that can't accept that are doing absolutely nothing for the children. Nothing.
Agreed.
But now we got beef.
Right.
When I see you, it's on. Now, how about when you see me, you give me some of this rent money that I'm paying to keep a roof over your kid's head? How about when you see me, you break me off back some of this bread for these sneakers that I keep buying, and for this, and for these trips that we going on, and this and that? How about that portion of it? So, you gotta be man enough to accept what goes along with that whole picture, man.
Guaranteed. Listen, now we got a lot of women in here, so I'm gonna open up the forum. Pop your question in the comments.
So, are they in the YouTube?
I got a lot of people on YouTube, and there's some on Facebook. So pop your question in the comments, post it, and we'll read it off. We're going to open it up for you women that's out there. If you got questions, no matter what it is, put it in there. The Question King is ready. We done talk for 50-something minutes about my problems, so we gotta get it. I want to make sure you women out there feel free to answer. And I know two women that's in here that have been waiting to get at you, Wayne, because of the last time they was on here. Quinn and Adrian, I know you in here, so here he is now. You get him now while he's in here.
And yeah, bring them back, man. This is and actually that's what started this whole thing. So I
It
want to
did.
give them a shout out. I know that was kind of unscripted and they probably was I saw they was a little off guard. Tim. So let's talk about
Ooh,
no, I mean talk about the
interesting.
women disciplining the man's kids. It should be vice versa, you know. You can't it can't be and I don't think that the role of a disciplinarian should only be a man's role. That's when a lot of the children build up resentment for their dads because he's the disciplinarian. The mother always has the role like your father did that to you, but she's the one that brought the issue to the father, and he got a chance to discipline him. I think that a woman in a relationship, the man and her should have a general across the board understanding on how we're going to handle these things. And you don't need clearance and you don't have to wait for him to come home or be there for you to explain what's going on. You get to pick up the phone and say, let me tell you what I did today, and this is what happened, and this is why it went down like that. Absolutely. That's that unified front that should be happening in a household where the communication should be tight enough where y'all understanding this already and the kids don't get to play y'all like a game of ping pong against each other.
I think that makes a strong relationship too. That when you have the woman and the man both disciplining the kids, and there's no recoil behind it, an issue. Like if she say, "Hey, man, what are you doing?"
Right.
Don't be looking at her like you say, "Yo, don't be talking to my son or my daughter like that." You
Right.
know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like,
no, no.
handle your business. Like, get
Yeah.
off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Quinn, I see you. What's up? Don't get scared now. You know what I mean? Quinn, we were talking about it. Wait, I need you women in here to ask them questions. I don't want y'all to think it's a male driven situation. You know what I'm saying? I
Right. They
want
got a lot to say when it's not time to say nothing.
no, yeah,
You know?
yeah, a lot to say. As soon as
Right.
Al, I
You
should have asked this question earlier. Nah, you had
right.
your chance. You had your chance, and I know people are gonna go back
And
and
this
when
is a good right. This is a good forum for I think a lot of mistakes that get done with the communication between men and women happens like this, where um women talk to each other about men and they give each other answers from a male perspective, but they're not men. There's no way that you could give your girlfriend an answer from a male's perspective because she knows nothing about what it is to be a man. So when we have forums like this, you get to ask those questions or respond to something and hear a rebuttal from a man in real time, as opposed to listening to what your girlfriend say. Because chances are absolutely positively great that she doesn't have a clue either. you
yeah,
know, like these conversations we should be having.
hmm that's not true. Okay, I'm gonna let you read it because this is your form. You do what you do.
I agree. She said that's not true. If you're a thoroughbred, you got to keep it real with your girl when giving an opinion. So in a perfect world, Tam, that would be great. I think that the vast majority of men have learned with dealing with women, we're not living in perfect worlds. There's just too many women who have a major issue with the truth. The truth is this thing that just fucks with them. And if you're telling your woman the truth on a regular basis and it goes against the grain of what she thinks, she's going to side with what she thinks way before the handling your truth if it goes against the grain of what she thinks. Like that's the definition of accountability that I know, especially on a lot of these online podcasts and forums that you see, there's this constant thread about women and accountability. That's because they have a problem with handling truth. Like if you tell a woman the truth, and even if I don't care how subtle you put this truth, if it goes against the grain of what she thinks, she has an issue with the truth. Not with what she thinks. You could prove to her what she's saying is wrong. She's going to stand on that wrong rather than the truth because they just haven't. I don't know. I don't know if it's genetics or what at this stage, man. So, yep, if you got a thoroughbred and you want to give her your opinion, there's a difference between giving a woman your opinion and her accepting the truth. A huge difference between the two. Okay, Stacy said she came on late, but shouldn't those type of questions be discussed early on? I think she's talking about when we was talking about the discipline. When discussing scenarios, if the person is not in agreement and not willing to compromise, then maybe that person is not for you. That's absolutely true. Right. So you say those things. And this is when it comes back to Stacy, what I was saying early on, if you came in late, with there's just some men at this stage of life that just because of that, they just prefer not to deal with women that have children of a certain age. Now, rather than us just focusing in on each other, we have to also factor in this, and we have to have these conversations and discussions and agreements with how we're going to handle your children if this come about or if that come about. And sometimes these relationships don't even make it to that stage. So every time you meet a new man, you got to say, yeah, I got 2 or 3 kids, your father's not in their life, and if me and you're going to be together, this is what I need, and this is what I want, and this is what I need. And you very well may be talking to a man whose children are out the house, and they don't have to put these same prerequisites in front of you in order to be able to date you. So it's just easier to date women that don't have younger children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jamal says, keeping it real puts people in their emotions. Yeah, I see what you're typing, Quinn. I see it. Because Quinn said that's not true about the comment that you have made about answering that question.
Okay, so are we talking Quinn, is that Q Walker?
Yeah.
Right. So they wrote, are we talking stepfather, stepmother, or mother and father? So if what are they saying is not true?
I think the question you had answered behind Stacy saying discussing the scenarios. I think that's what she's talking about. If Quinn, correct me if I'm wrong, Quinn, is that what you're talking about when he was saying answering the scenarios from Stacy? Let us know.
Yeah. So yeah, if that's what she's talking about, I think that comes a little bit further down the line when you're dealing with somebody. When we start talking about the children and the scenarios and what the wants and wishes are, that if you're going to be dealing with me, these are the things that have to transpire between you and I as it pertains to my children. I don't want to have that conversation with somebody that I met a week ago or 2 weeks ago. We're not there yet. And that's what I think. That's what I mean by sometimes, these scenarios with children have to be slow walked as opposed to also thrown in from day one with this package deal. All right, y'all a package deal, but even Amazon might drop off something one day that you ordered, and then the next day bring the next part of that package to you. Like it's a big ask for a lot of men all at once to learn about you and also how we're going to deal with your children.
She said women can handle the truth. And then Jamal said, just lie. They love that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of men will say that. So what Jamal said was when you tell them the truth, they get emotional. That's accountability. Once again, they rather live in what they think rather than the truth. So if I'm pointing at a picture and the whole painting is in pink and she thinks it's purple, yo, it's pink. I don't care what you think. The truth of the matter is it's pink. So you get so many women that have an issue with the truth. Like, yo, my feelings outweigh the truth. And when you get to that point when you're dealing with somebody that you see that that's ongoing, that's a major, major red flag. You will always be at odds with a woman like this who is super, super emotional because they're going to always put their emotions over truth and fact because it's easier for them to manage that than have to deal with what comes along with a lot of truth. So they want to be babies and go like, no, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I meant. I'm like, yo, but this is what it is. Let's start dealing with what it is as opposed to what you feel and what you think, especially when there's a gap between the two. And especially, so if we know that there are this super group of women that just lead with emotions, that's just emotional beings
Quinn.
that
It's about what
so
women
Quinn,
about.
if there's this thing that's called if it doesn't apply, let it fly. So if you're not this woman like that, then we're not talking about you. But as men, we know that we've come across enough women that this applies to, and that's why it becomes a part of the way a lot of men feel they have to deal overall with women. Now, is this about every single woman? Of course not. But there is just so many women that are these emotional beings that there's certain men that it gets to a certain point where they'll say to themselves, man, I don't even want to deal with telling her what happened with this. And this is when the communication starts getting very, very rocky. When a man is dealing with a woman that's this emotional being that he doesn't feel like he could come home, walk through the door, and there's a situation that happened that he could tell her straight up and down, hey, baby, listen, this is what happened today. And she deals with it on the merits of what he's saying as opposed to some emotional stuff or taking a deeper negative dive into what he says as opposed to what it is.
Jamal said, ask a woman what she thinks, and she'll tell you how she feels. Ask a
I didn't
man.
even I didn't even I can't even read what he wrote and I finished the statement. I can't see it. Ask a woman what she thinks, she'll tell you how she feels. Ask a man how he feels, and he's going to tell you whatever the truth of that matter is, and and then they're going to wonder why we don't express our feelings. Imagine if you had this emotional household of a man that was in his feelings all day and a woman that was in her feelings all day. At some point, somebody has to be dealing in reality and truth, and reality and truth gets situations that need to be handled much more quicker and much more to the point of completion than we got to go back and forth with our feelings and whatever. Quinn, I'm glad that you, as a woman, you don't have an issue with the truth.
Yeah,
Chan,
that's
you must
cool.
be
That's
dealing.
cool. There's a lot of people who's out there. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Jamal.
Yeah. So I don't even know if now this becomes 10. I don't even know if this now becomes the definition of a quote unquote weak woman, because if that's the case, I think a lot of women fall under this umbrella of weak. I don't even want to call them weak. I just want to call them emotional. And I think that very often their emotion overrides their decision making processes. You'll hear women all the time versus men saying that they made their decision based on how they felt about this person or that person. And we're gonna keep this strictly to relationships. Women making their decisions on what they feel about a man versus what they see. What you see is gonna be him telling you the truth. But you feel something about this dude. Yo, yeah, I'm feeling him, girl. Yeah, I'm feeling this nigga. Because he's 6'5" and got a good job. But meanwhile, he talked to you reckless. He's not dependable. He told you he was going to pick you up at 7. He didn't even come through. But you feeling him. So you're going to keep letting all this stuff go because you want to go with your feelings rather than locking in on these things that are quote unquote red flags emotionally. Oh my, weak emotion, both negative. Jamal, 10 out of 10. Some men don't always have it together to take the children. Some don't even want that type of responsibility because they like to move around and do what they do. So that's why a lot of mothers ends up with their children. Tam, I think that could be right sometimes. And for you to say 10 out of 10, I think you are exaggerating. I think that there's plenty of men that, well, men get a bad knock when it comes to this stuff. A bad knock, a bad rap. Um, I could say it from experience. I could say it from experience of men that I've known and dealt with from childhood, and I know their personal situations where once the relationship goes bad between no, you're still not right with 9 out of 10. Clearly, math wasn't your subject in school. But this is that one thing that a lot of women have control over, that they can stick it to a man. There's a lot of women out here that's just not doing good or doing better than the man that they with financially, but they would rather suffer financially and struggle with having their children and know that if they left the children in the house with the man that was the breadwinner, that the children would be in a better position. And they would never give up that because it puts them in a position where they've relinquished control to a man, as far as the children is concerned, and also the way society sees it, women are supposed to be these the ones that take care of the children. If you can't take care of the child, I know dudes that's paying child support. That the child support is not a financial drain for them. And even with the child support, the woman is struggling. And rather than let the child stay with their father, not some man, their father, until she gets herself in a better position financially. She rather struggle with those children there with her rather than let them go with their father until she get herself in a better position financially. It's all a front. They want to look the part, and a lot of them are not doing the part very well. I could go way, way deeper into this whole single woman versus what's the outcome with these children. We could go way deeper than that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't present them in a very it doesn't present these women in a very positive light at all. And I'm not, and what I'm going to be speaking is just statistics. And a lot of times these statistics bear out what's happening realistically. You know, like when the relationship is over with you and that man. Move out the way and let him foster this relationship with his children. Be gone. Put them outside on the porch so you don't even have to see him when he picks them up. Like, but so many women, this has nothing to do with the children. It's the fact that they still harbor ill will from this man, that the relationship couldn't work out right. So she's going to be forever disgusted with him. No matter what he does, no matter how great of a father he is, she can't get past the point that this nigga don't want to fuck with me some more anymore. And God forbid he breaks up with her and moves on to better relationship. Not only is she mad at him, now she don't like his new chick either.
Mm-hmm.
And the pawn is the children. I can't get under this man's skin. I can't wreck his nerves. He done moved on relationship wise with this new woman. What can I do to make him just as mad at me as I am at him? And the pawn is the kids more often
Let me
than
ask
not.
you this: where did that come from, on the woman's side or the man's side? However, and let's just give it, both, because why do women do that? Is there a reason? Is that because they listen to their friends because they got them ears?
And then listen, Quinn, stop with that. Not every woman, we get it. Because if that's going to be your point all the time, you're not making a point. So if I have to put out the disclaimer every time I say something, and say, of course, I'm not talking about all women, just to appease you, then something's wrong. Because obviously, because I make negative statements about men, and obviously, I'm not talking about all men. So if I say something contrary to what you think and what you feel, I don't have to put out the disclaimer of I'm not talking about every woman. So I'm saying that because it leads to a more natural conversation. But I'm sorry, Al, say your question again.
No, I was just asking, like, why. That's like, the good guy always finish last. You can be the one that's there, but the mom finds some way.
So okay, got you. And then you even said with that, she got her girlfriends in her ear, and you know what? Very often the girlfriends that's in her ear are in the exact same predicament as her.
Mhm.
They was with this dude, it didn't work out. And sometimes very often it didn't work out because the dude wasn't shit.
Mhm.
Very often that's the case. And you know what? Even when that's the case, he didn't show her that he wasn't non-worthy once she got pregnant and had a baby. He showed those signs way before the fact, and she didn't follow those red flags. She didn't listen. She didn't heed the signs. Or very often than not, I found that a lot of us are just not very good at vetting the people that we want to be with. That
Mhm.
whole vetting process is a real deal. It has nothing to do with how dude look. Has nothing to do with how tall he is, how much money he makes. So when you start having this very, very small window of boxes that you need to check before you accept a man, these are the women that keep finding themselves in these predicaments where this dude that she jumped from first base to third base with and didn't do her homework. Now, when it's time to do the homework, you look up and you got a baby, or dude done messed up your credit. He done crashed your car. He done got your girlfriend pregnant. He wasn't shit from rip. And you were so blind because you so blind. I want to be in a relationship. You ain't never, ever, ever in your life heard a man say, damn, man, I wish I had a girl. Never. But you'll hear women over and over again like, girl, you need a man. You need a man. I ain't got no man. Like to the point where their requirements for getting that become lower and lower and lower and lower. And definitely they get lower and lower and lower as you get older and older and older.
I always say, girl, you need a man is because
You got to speak up since you're sitting over here talking. You got to speak up.
I just couldn't. My
Yeah.
Twitter thing.
So when you get these men that are raggedy, you got to absolutely say, what part did I play in receiving this raggedy ass man? Because he was raggedy when he came to you.
Not necessarily.
What signs did you overlook?
Well, what I'm saying, you said they weren't raggedy when you met them because it was enough. They had good conversation at that time, probably.
No, that's not. No,
I agree. I
he
agree.
No,
Yeah,
he was already
he was game tight.
right. He played the field real good.
He was his game was tight. He knew all the shit to say, but then now what did
Right, because you was a new face.
No, but I'm saying what did he do is deed to back up the words.
Well, see, now I can't question. I can't ask them type of
So if
questions.
he did, so that's what. So there's this new term out there.
His game had to be good at some point.
So you fell for the okie doke.
Somebody fell for the okie doke.
Right.
Somebody fell for the banana. But everybody else that knew him knew he was doing.
You fell for the banana turnpike.
So that's this term now that they got called love bombing. So where a dude from day one, he coming in hot and heavy, like yeah, baby, man, back. And Quinn, I'm getting ready to say something. And so many women, not all women, but so many women are in need of and so hungry for that affection that they using the words as the measurement for the affection as opposed to the deed. So now if dude come in love bombing, but he ain't showing you nothing that matches what he's saying.
Wow.
He that's when you have to look at it as a red flag, as opposed to saying, all right, it sounds good, and I'm attracted to dude. And God forbid he love bombing and you physically attracted to him. Oh God, you in for a world of hurt. You in for a world of hurt.
Look at Jamal. He said most women would break their rules of standards for the men they like.
Yep, he's right. I agree with him. I agree with Jamal.
I agree with that statement, Jamal, 100%. 100%.
I know it's on the list.
Yeah. So and let me add on to what he said. Not so one part is if a woman is feeling a dude, she will absolutely break her standards.
Mm-hmm.
And the opposite side of that coin is if she's not feeling a dude, she's going to create even more standards not to get with him. So women know from the door who they want and what they going to do. When a chick come to your house and you look up and it's 3:00 in the morning and she been there since 9. And you go like, yo, so you going home tonight or you want to stay? No, I'll stay. I don't normally stay, but I'll stay. Your ass knew when you left the house that you was going to stay that night.
Mm-hmm.
You knew.
Because I stayed at my boo's house, washed my panties in the sink.
You knew what you was going to do. The same way when a dude that you're not particularly feeling, where the level of physical attraction is very low, and he step to you and he say like, yo, can we talk? Can we exchange numbers? I'd like to take you out to dinner. And you say, yeah, I bet I could do that. And you can exchange numbers and y'all go out to dinner. You know that the level of attraction on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 3. As opposed to down, if you're a woman of your standards, you're going to say, yo, dude, I'm feeling dude on the level of 1 to 10 is a 3. I'm not going to exchange numbers with him. I'm not going to go out to dinner with him because it's a free meal. And then now you're going to have to try to figure out how can I get rid of this dude that keep calling me that I was never attracted to from the beginning. That's what he meant by the standard piece. So when women are true to their standards, no is a very, very easy thing to say.
I got a true story. I got a homegirl who went to dinner with somebody. I wish I could tag her in this. Oh my God, I wish I could tag her. They went to dinner. And I'm talking about, he thought it was going to be more than that. And she was like, no, I'm going to go, man, I wish I could tag her. Do you know that nigga socked her in the face? This is a true story. Oh my God.
Nah, that's not cool.
Hey.
Yeah, he's doing.
Yeah, so we're not taking it to that.
Why would you put a story out there?
Yeah, we're not.
She want a story out there.
That's a good story.
Right. How you get snuffed for going out on a date? You get
right.
Hey, and he just took off on her.
That makes no sense.
Like, damn, we're like, what happened to your face?
I'll be honest with you. That's some sucker shit. And I don't know.
That's a charge. I hope she called the cops and they caught him. I hope she called the cops and they caught him, man. But standards is a real thing, man. Standards is a real thing, and it's so funny.
But that's another thing you got to worry about going out with people. You know, some people they talk a good game, but you get to that dinner, and after that,
like I said, that's that love bombing. That's that story that I said earlier about the young lady that 2 weeks in, you entrusting your child with somebody that you don't know. You don't know who they are, what they're capable of. Why would you ever do something like that?
I took her to school.
But here's
hold on. See, this actually happened.
What happened?
I took her daughter to school.
How soon was it?
Okay. How soon into the relationship?
What month was it?
Probably was a month.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It was less or more?
No, Al.
It was less than a month.
Al, she had finished in the last week in March, so it was probably 90 days in.
Oh, okay, 3 months.
Yeah, okay, that's totally different.
But I spent 2 weeks with the man.
That's totally different. I'm talking about, like I said, this was a 2 week scenario, man. Nah, you don't do nothing. 90 days, three months in, I think is definitely an adequate amount of time for people to start painting these pictures of reality.
But let's keep it $100. I already had his background checked, okay?
Oh God.
First of all,
my daddy a police officer, and the homegirls, everybody was checking him out.
Again, you falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
Ain't no banana in the tailpipe.
That was somebody else's social security number he looked at.
I looked up his whole DNA.
I wasn't worried. You can look it up now. It don't matter to me. But you're fine. Too late now. Where you going?
Yeah, so I think that obviously, men bear the brunt of a lot of these, these failed relationships. Obviously, that goes without saying. That goes without saying. Where we got a lot of grown little boys out here.
Yeah.
Grown little boys, and
is that because no father in the picture, no grandfather in the picture, no uncle in the picture, no OG? I mean, I'm just asking because that could be a lot of reasons.
So for me, the answer to that is yes. Like, how can... So right now, statistics say that 50% of all marriages are going to end in divorce. Even higher rate in the African American community. Right now, statistics say that 75%, 3 out of 4 of African American households are run by single Black women. 3 out of 4, 75% of all households, there's no man in the household. There's no demographic of people, Black, white, Hispanic, male, female. There's no demographic of people in the world that get married at a lower percentage than African American women. When you start putting all these demographics together, it paints this picture of what the Black household looks like. There's no husbands there. There's no fathers there. There's no male influence, period. So, who's shaping these boys? You know who's shaping them? The women, their mother.
And they soft.
I'm saying that that's a knock. I'm saying that that's the reality. That's the truth. There shouldn't be anything emotional with what I'm saying, because 3 out of 4 households are being run by single Black women. So it's their responsibility to raise these boys. You can't blame even the father. You know why? He's not there. Like, I'm gonna give a stupid example. If me and you and somebody else was planning on robbing a bank, I was at every meeting that we had to rob this bank. The day we were supposed to go rob the bank, I overslept. Y'all went and robbed the bank and got caught. And say, yeah, but Wayne was down with us. He was at every meeting. And then the police gonna go, Wayne, who's Wayne? Nah, you carried out this act. We don't know nothing about Wayne. Wayne is not responsible for the end product of your actions, even though he might have been there in the planning stages.
He's right.
Yeah.
So men get this knock, black men, of not being in the house, and the way the children turn out is the man's fault. How is that possible when he wasn't there? I'm gonna give you another thing. So let's say you're a single parent, single woman. I'll use a man at first. You're a single parent. You're a male. Woman was in a relationship with you. She left you. You was doing better than her. You was like, yo, you could go. My child is staying here with me. So your daughter goes on top of her class in high school, top of her class in college, goes on to become a doctor. Should the mother who was never in the house get any credit for her rearing? For turning out being a doctor when she wasn't in her life at all? My answer is no. But repetitively, we see that these fathers bear the brunt of the way the children turn out in these homes that they were never a part of. You can't be to blame for something that you wasn't a part of. So we need to take a deeper dive into, first and foremost, these households that's fractured. What do we need to do so that they become whole? But we also need to say, what do we need to do to help these single mothers that have this burden now placed on them once these relationships fail, of being able to raise these boys into men? So now you got this 35-year-old man that never had a male influence in his house, that never showed him how to treat a woman, or what his responsibilities should be during the course of courting a woman, or once he's in the early stages of a relationship, or what he needs to do while in a serious relationship. They don't have a clue. They out here lost.
You know, Jamal just said something. He said black women are told to live their best lives instead of marrying early and growing together and raise their family.
Well, who's marrying them? Nobody's marrying them. It's crazy. Nobody's marrying them. Black men, listen to this stat. African American men get married at a higher rate than African American women. You know why that's possible and why it's true? Because almost to a fault, African American women stand by African American men. A black man will marry a Hispanic woman. A black man will marry a white woman. A black man will marry an Asian woman. A black woman won't do that. So now you find black men marrying outside of their race, but black women don't. No demographic of people get married at a lower rate than African American women. So they need to change that word that got passed around here 10 minutes ago, which is the standard. The standard should be, yeah, dude, I love you and I want us to be together just as much as you saying. I'm not having your baby without you marrying me. It's just that simple. That ball is completely in their court. with that child born in a marriage as opposed to out of wedlock, the percentage of that union surviving increases tenfold.
You see Josh's comment?
Black women forget how to love a man, or better yet, they are the only race that teaches not to need a man. Once again, but that's not even just That's just not at this point. It's an idea that a lot of black women are perpetuating, but it was part of this whole systemic racism brought about in this country. If you look at the stats of African American households prior to 1960, the percentage that was married as opposed to after 1960, where the numbers just start tumbling. And you know why? That's when the government waged this war against black men in America, where the goal was to separate the black man from the woman. And the woman was actually given and received financial benefits for not being with a black man. Once you take the black man out the household, we're going to give you these reparations. We're going to give you welfare. We're going to give you housing assistance. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you that. That's when they started they would apply for these government benefits, and they had the social workers that would literally come into the house in the 60s and in the 70s. And if there was a man in the house, your benefits was taken away from you. And that started the mindset of these black women saying, it benefits me more not having a man in my house than because they wasn't in the workforce. The black women wasn't out there in the workforce like that. So let's get the man out the house, but still give them the financial rewards that they need to maintain the household. And now we separate them from their families. This is institutionalized. It was planned. And here we are in 2020. And so then that even perpetuated even more in the 70s and 80s when you started seeing all these black women going to college, getting college degrees. And at the same rate that they was going to school and getting these college degrees, you had the black men dropping out of high school, going to jail. So who is this black woman supposed to be aligned? Where's her equal out there in the world? This was by choice. Like, if you don't understand, if you don't know these things, that's when you start thinking and saying to yourself, yeah, black men are just this and black women are just that. You got to understand that this was the groundwork that was laid in this country by the government back in the 1960s to separate us from our women, to separate the women from the men, to separate the men from the children. If the father's not in the house to lead, that's when all this chaos is going to come. These kids ain't graduating from college, from high school. The young girls is having babies at a younger age. Like, it's crazy. And it all stems from not having the black man in the house, where now it's 2026. I live in Atlanta. Like, the women in Atlanta are doing great. They have these great, occupations. They come here from states all over the country and go to college and then stay here in the state and, get these jobs with these major corporations and come down here and live these great lives. But you look at, like, even me as a single man, I go out, these different social spots are flooded with women, no men.
You know what they say about Atlanta, so you got to be confused out there anyway.
Well, I see more gay women in Atlanta than I see gay men.
Yeah, times changed.
Yeah, like, like I remember when I used to hear all the stories about Atlanta and the gay men, men, they're down here.
Yeah.
But so are the women. But there's a lot of successful women down here, but they're not successful and in a relationship. They're not successful and married. They're not successful and was able to forge a bond and a strong relation. They did great, you know, in the workforce, but they couldn't sustain their relationships. Like these are the things that got us all crapped up as people.
You think it's because of standards too? The reason why some women are not married?
I don't know, man. How can you have the standard to say, oh, he doesn't check this box, this box, this box, and this box for me to consider him to be my husband, but you got kids. Obviously, somebody was good enough to check these boxes to impregnate you and give you a baby. That's the nigga that you should have married. Why was the standard good enough for you to give him?
Hold on one second, man.
But the standard wasn't good enough for him to be your husband.
No, huh? Take what's the name with you? No, she just her daughter's up there. Is she refereeing?
Yep.
She refereeing and
Quinn, you so right. This could go so deep.
Oh, you know, part 3 is the group. Part 3 is the group, and that's what we're gonna do the group form.
Josh said the baddies are winning. Nah, they losing.
Yeah, we're gonna do the group form. That's something we definitely gonna do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like in real time.
Yeah,
like,
we're gonna do it.
Instead of being in 2, I would love for it to be split into 4.
No, we're gonna do, you know, 2 or 3 guys, 2 or 3 women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Form together, and then we have a question. Bring your question, and once we do that, then we can go bounce back and forth so that everybody answer. And I think it'd be better that way instead.
Yeah, and like I said, in real time, you letting people speak their truth, and also in real time, you know, you could give these rebuttals. But like I said, it could just go so deep, and I think we got these deep rooted feelings and thoughts about each other. I'm talking about men and women, like that. You know, some of us are still not letting people in from situations that happened with us 20, 30 years ago. Like now, nope, that's it. I'm done. Larry fucked it up for everybody. So nobody is like that fence and that wall is up for everything and for everybody because something that Larry did at the Freaknik in 2000, you're not letting go of. Like, or something that Mary did to you, you know, you're not letting that go. Now all women ain't this and all women ain't that. A lot of traumas, like you said.
Yeah.
A lot of traumas, man.
And of course, you know, Quinn, she just said she need to go back and forth with you. Yeah, we know, Quinn. We know.
Yeah, like, and I want you to. I don't want to monopolize the forum with my opinions or anything like that.
But that was the same way when they came on. They spoke what they spoke. You was able to throw questions. Now you on, you speaking.
Right. That's when they started sweating. They started
asking, yeah. They wanted to know who you were. They wanted to know if you live in Texas and all that.
They wanted to start wiping their foreheads and get it together. They had to go in the back and have a group meeting. But yeah,
oh man.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot, man. And like I said, so like earlier I said, these are with the origination of the forum on Facebook with me, that whole question King Monica. That's what this was. It was a whole bunch of questions. To get people responding, then talking, and then you might hear something from somebody's perspective that you never even thought about. You're like, you know what? I didn't even think about it like that. And just through conversation, you can learn a whole lot about things that you were closed-minded to, or things that you just wondered why. But sometimes you get in the opinions of people that have bad thoughts too, and they're going to send you down the lane that they know. And when you say, sometimes they might have their girlfriends on their ear, or guys might have their homeboys in their ear, like, yo, man, fuck what she's saying. Later for her. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, you might be seriously trying to salvage your relationship with this lady, and you just don't know the direction to go in or the right person to go to get some solidified information. So if you go into your boys and they experiences with women haven't been positive, how can they give you positive reinforcement for what you need to do, and vice versa? If a woman wants to have things work out with a man that she's dealing with, and she going to her girlfriends for advice, and all their experiences with men have been negative, how could they possibly give her good information to help her salvage her situation?
Right.
Don't work.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Well, this is great conversation. Good questions.
I agree.
Good responses. We will be having a part 3. We're going to do that one on Zoom. We're going to get everybody involved. We're going to, get the women involved. We're going to get the men involved. We're going to have a mediator, which will be me. I want everybody to bring their questions. And when they bring their questions, we're going to sit there and have a forum and just go back and forth. And everybody have a fair shake of answering. And you get to see the person who's talking, you know what I mean? Because it's better when you see that person too.
Oh, absolutely.
When I'm talking, you get to see that. Oh, look at the facial expression. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be able to see that environment.
You want to see what Quinn Woods Walker is talking about.
But yeah. Her other homegirl on here too, Adrian. But I'm gonna get her. I
didn't see Adrian.
Nah, she didn't jump on. She probably got busy, got tired of work or something like that.
Gotcha.
Anything you want to close out with? The question, King. Anything you want to leave people with?
Just communication is the key, man. And communication isn't somebody siding or going along with what you think. That's not effective communication. Effective communication is you being able to verbalize your thoughts, so that now that person that you're talking to could have a response for you. A lot of communication is not verbal. A lot of people get mad and get in their feelings and pout and think that now it's on the other person to be a mind reader and understand what's going on with you. As opposed to you just saying like, yo, man, listen, this is not going good. This is not going good because of this or because of that. And being in a position where the person that they're communicating with, you have that trust factor that you can tell them these things that's going on in your mind. You have that trust factor where you feel like I can communicate with them and they're not going to be upset with what I say, even if what I say goes against the grain of what they think. They're in a position to be able to take it in, give me a response, not be disrespectful, not be abrasive, not be this emotional ball of energy, and just be able to kick it with your people. And then you'll find so much gets accomplished from just a good conversation, man. So much. You go to bed that night feeling so much better, going like, damn, I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't verbalize it. Your communication skills have to be, as adults, we have to know how, in relationships, we have to know how to communicate with each other. You have to know who that person is. And it can't be, I don't want to say the wrong thing to tick him off or to tick her off. That becomes that other person's mechanism to not deal with you. Like, she know, like, okay, if this nigga say something to me, I'm gonna go crazy. Like, no, why go crazy? Why not be an adult, take it in, and have a rebuttal, an educated and knowledge-based rebuttal, not something that based on your feelings and your emotions. So all this is communicating, man. This forum on A60, with us starting to now do these relationship-driven conversations, that's all that is, man. It's letting you see things from different perspectives. We have some where it's just men. There's no women talking. And you, like, the women would be surprised what the men say to each other about women, that a lot of men feel like they can't say to their lady because it's not going to be received well. She's going to turn into this emotional roller coaster, and instead of it being this back and forth so that there could be some resolve, it turns into this. You hurt my feelings, or man, nah, grow up. So yeah, I just want to leave with that. Where thanks a lot, man, for being able to offer this, this level of a forum for us to be able to communicate, and I think it'll only get better, man.
No, I definitely want to continue this dialogue. I think it needs to be heard. I think me and you talked about this before. There are a lot of men who have questions, don't know where to get those answers from other men, and they're scared to express themselves. Women, they have other women, but when it comes to men, we don't know where to get this info or just that dialogue started,
Yep.
and just that conversation. It's just sometimes we just want to hear from another person's perspective.
Men even with other men, they're very cautious.
Yes.
With explaining themselves and their experiences and their emotions, being too emotional around other men can get you labeled by other men. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Where there has to be this trust factor of a forum taking place.
Agreed. And again, we will do part 3 where we'll get everybody involved, and we will update everybody to get everybody involved. Wayne, thank you, man. I really appreciate you bringing this.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you also, bro. Thank you.
This has been great. I'm tapping into something new with A60. It's not just sports. We talk about everything. We want to have a good convo no matter what show you're watching. There will be a time for sports. There will be a time we're just going to talk relationships. There might be a time we're doing mental health checks. We need to be in there. I know next week I got my boy who just dropped a book, Lavigne Watkins. We're going to be on here talking about his book he just dropped. Was now in Barnes and Nobles and on Amazon. It's called Contempt. And I definitely need to cop that book. And when he brings my copy, I'll make sure.
You're welcome, Tim. Yeah, thank you also, bro. Like you said, yeah, man, a lot of stuff we need to talk about out here in this world, man. Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's do it here on the A60 platform, and continue success, bro. Keep growing your platform, your vision. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And it's a pleasure being here, and keep up the good work, man.
I appreciate you, my brother. I'll talk to you in a minute.
You got it. Peace.
Right. Peace. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the A60 Show with the Question King, my man Wayne. Thank you for always tuning in, man. Thank you for always checking. I appreciate that, bringing this to the forefront, having relationship conversation. Again, I'm one of those guys who've always wanted to have that conversation and ask those questions. And now you got a person that can actually ask those questions for all guys, for all men. You're all welcome. And we will do part 3, as I said before. Also, if you like, please share on Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Chopping It Up with A60. I would love to see those numbers run up. Tune in to a lot of the A60 shows. I appreciate all the love, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you. Peace and love.